Hello students, welcome to the second session for the 12th standard science biology dealing with the second chapter, that is the sexual reproduction in case of the flowering plants. Well, up till now we have discussed very well about the male reproductive organs of the flower and the male gametophyte. Now today our main focus of attention is on the female reproductive organs of typical flower and the female gametophyte. Well, today our main focus of attention is on the female reproductive organs of a typical flower. There are variations which are found inside the structure. It basically consists of the pistil, the megasporangium, that is the ovule, and the embryo sac. The male part, it is said to be the androecium, and the female part is said to be the gynoecium, which is the female reproductive part of a flower, and it consists of variations in case of the pistil. Let us see into the crux of it. Now, if a single pistil is present in a typical flower, it is said to be monocarpellary. That is the monocarpellary or the monocarpous gynoecium. There are certain plants where the multiple or more than one pistil is there. It is said to be the multicarpellary gynoecium. There are two basic types in this multicarpellary gynoecium. It may be fused or it may be free also. So, if they are fused, it is said to be the syncarpus, and if they are free, then it is said to be the apocarpus. Here we can observe very well the fused pistil, that is the syncarpus. Now focus into the structure of a typical pistil. It basically consists of the three major regions: the stigma, that is the topmost region, then the middle tube-like structure, that is the style, and the lowermost bulge structure, which is having the ovule, is said to be the ovary. Now stigma, it is the landing platform for the pollen grains, where the pollen grains will come, and by the attachment of the pollen grains with the stigma, they'll form the pollen tube that will be going through the style, which is the elongated slender part of the pistil, and then through it, it will be migrating towards the ovary, which is the basal bulged part of the typical pistil. Now let us go into the structure of a typical ovary. Now a typical ovary, it consists of the ovule, which is there at the central region, and it has a cavity that is known as the ovarian cavity, which is also said to be a locule. Inside the locule, the ovary is basically present, and the attachment is said to be the placenta. So placenta is basically found inside this ovarian cavity. Here we can observe very well the attachment of the ovules based on the placenta. So based on this placenta, we have various types of the placentation: the free central, the axial, the marginal, the parietal, and the basal, which we have studied very well in case of the 11th standard. Well, focusing on further, the megasporangium or the ovule, it is attached to the placenta by means of the typical structure known as the funicle. Here we can observe very well the seeds basically present inside the typical fruit, which takes place after the development of the ovule. Now how it takes place, that we shall focus on in much detail. When we observe the longitudinal section of the ovary of a typical papaya, we observe a lot of seeds and the ovary. This multiple formation of the seeds basically takes place. If you observe the structure of an ovule, it mainly consists of an egg-shaped body. And the megasporangium of the ovule is attached to the placenta by means of the funicle. So we can observe the structure of the placenta and the funicle. Well, the body of the ovule fuses with the funicle in a region known as the hilum. And this hilum is nothing but a junction between the ovule and the funicle. Furthermore, let us go into the microscopic view of it. There are a lot of integuments, that is the envelope of each ovule, except at the tip where a small opening is there, that is said to be the micropyle. So there are a lot of integuments, there are a lot of layers which are there. So except at the tip where a small opening is there, the micropyle, except that the integuments are there throughout the entire structure. This pollen tube will be traveling through the style, it will be going further, and through the micropyle it will be entering inside the ovule. Now these integuments mainly consist of a lot of structures. Now the chalaza, that is the basal part of the ovule, which is opposite to the micropylar end. So this integuments and the funicle is there. The nucellus, that is the mass of the cells enclosed within the integuments. Its cells have large reserve food, and in it is the embryo sac or the female gametophyte. These are the microscopic view of the nucellus cells. Now let us observe how the formation of such cells ultimately they take place, which we call it as the megasporogenesis. Well, the MMC, that is the megaspore mother cells, it undergoes meiosis and they produce large number of the megaspores. What is this MMC? These megaspore mother cells, it is a large cell with a dense cytoplasm and the prominent nucleus. So this megaspore mother cell and the nucellus which we can observe. One megaspore mother cell, it divides, that is it undergoes meiosis and produces 4 megaspores, out of which one megaspore is functional and the other 3 degenerate. As only one is functional, it is said to be a monosporic development. So one functional megaspore, it is said to be the female gametophyte or the embryo sac. As 4 are being generated, it is said to be a megaspore tetrad. Now let us observe the nucleus of this functional megaspore. Now this nucleus of the functional megaspore, it undergoes mitosis and produces 2 nuclei, which move towards the opposite poles, forming the 2 nucleate embryo sac. Here we can observe very well the monosporic development, where only one is functional and the other 3 gets degenerated. And this functional nucleus of this megaspore ultimately undergoes mitosis and produces 2 nuclei, which further undergoes one more mitosis and produces 4 nucleate structures that will further undergo mitosis to produce 8 nucleate structures and that is the 8 nucleate stage of the embryo sac. Here we can observe the division of one functional nucleus into the two later on into the four, and four which will be getting further divided into the 8 nucleate stage of the embryo sac. Now out of the 8 nuclei, 6 nuclei are surrounded by the cell wall and organized to the 6 cells, while the 2 nuclei, which are known as the polar nuclei, they arrange themselves in the large central cell. So let us observe the structure and the arrangement of it. So the 2 nucleate the 4 and the 8 nucleate embryo sac, which we can observe very well. Furthermore, this arrangement of the 8 nucleate stage of the embryo sac, it is directed by means of certain enzymes and certain hormones. They play a huge role in the arrangement of the 8 nucleate stage of the embryo sac. Here we can observe very well the 3 at the top, the 3 at the bottom, and the 2 polar nuclei arranged at the center. Well, out of the 6, the 3 cells they arrange at the micropylar end and they form the egg apparatus. And the other 3 at the chalazal end, it is said to be forming the antipodal cells. And these antipodal cells that do not have any sort of specific functions. So here in the diagram we can observe very well the antipodal cells, the central cell having the 2 polar nuclei. Furthermore, if you observe into the crux of it, the 3 cells which are arranged at the micropylar end and forming the egg apparatus, it mainly consists of the 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. Here we can observe the 3 cells at the chalazal end which forms the antipodal cells. There are no specific functions of the antipodal cells, but still on the basis of the presence of the hormones they play a huge role in it. At the micropylar end, the 3 cells arrange at the micropylar and forming the egg apparatus, which basically consists of the 2 synergid cells and 1 egg cell. So 1 egg cell we can observe very well and the 2 synergid cells. And these 2 synergid cells, they have special cellular thickening at the micropylar tip known as the filiform apparatus. And this filiform apparatus helps in guiding the pollen tube into the synergids. So thus a typical angiosperm embryo sac at maturity, though 8 nucleate, it is said to be a 7 nucleate structure. Well, that was about the female reproductive organs of a typical flower and the female gametophyte. Well, in the next class, we shall discuss in much detail about the pollination and its various aspects. Thank you very much.